Welcome to another episode of Wild Mouse. I am your host, Taylor Bartle. Before we get started, I just want to real quick say thank you to everyone that's been listening, whether this is your first episode or whether you've been listening from the beginning. It's been awesome. I've been having a lot of fun with this podcast. Hopefully you're having a lot of fun listening. And especially thanks to everyone who has left a review. If you haven't yet, maybe consider taking 30 seconds to a minute, open your podcast player of choice, give us 5 stars. Put a little something in the review box. Just tell us what you like about the show. What is your favorite episode so far? Or maybe something you'd like to see on a future episode. It helps us kind of move up rankings and helps more people find the show. So it really does help the show, and it would mean a lot to me personally. And I would love you forever. Today's guest is my oldest friend, not by age, but by tenure. He is the only person from my high school that I still talk to on a regular basis.
Woo!
Yeah, it's Jason Buffer.
What up, everybody?
Hello, sir.
How you doing, brother? How's it? I just got back from Seattle. I got to see you a bit for the Kraken game, but I just got back about a week ago, and it was miserable weather the entire time.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Today has kind of run the gamut. It was pouring down rain this morning, and then it was sunny when we got out of pickleball. So.
Nice. Yeah, coming in to Washington, if anybody doesn't know, I call my domicile household here in Hawaii, so I'm used to between 80 and 72 every day, and I was not prepared when I walked off the plane.
You were like 50 degrees, that's freezing!
Yeah, dude, I had packed some things, but I was not prepared at all. And then we went up to Crystal Mountain, and I was like, what the hell am I doing here? By the way, can we swear on here?
Fuck no.
Okay, so I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? When I walked off the plane.
You had the Marshawn Lynch in Buffalo reaction where he was like, I didn't know nothing about no snow.
Yes, correct. That was literally exactly what it was. But it was nice to be home. I got to see my nephew. My nephew's 1. So the running joke was, are you going to be here for his 21st birthday? Which I said, yes, I will make it back in 20 years.
Well, I don't know if you've heard, but I'm taking my brother to Disney for his 21st birthday. So I'm very excited about that.
I did see that. That's really, are you guys going to Disney World or Disneyland?
Disneyland.
Nice. Okay.
And he already told me first thing he's doing is beelining straight for Galaxy's Edge.
Well, good luck, because the line on that starts pretty early.
My God, yeah. I'm just wondering how many times he's going to want to ride everything there, because I know he's going to want to ride everything, but I'm wondering just how many times is it going to be? Can we do Rise of the Resistance again?
How long are you guys going to be there for?
3 days.
Okay, all right. You'll get enough time in, and as long as you're able to sign up for any of the times early. But Jesus, when I was at Disney World for buddy's wedding, and I was just like kind of walking around a little bit, and holy crap, like the lines are just like 190 minutes, 240 minutes, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I can't imagine that anymore.
Yeah, we don't go without Lightning Lane anymore.
It's
a must.
It's literally, at this point, like if you don't go with that, you're going to be riding 2 rides throughout the entire day, and you're going to be literally in line the entire time.
Yeah. But so today's topic is actually not about Disney. Going back to, like I said, me and Jason went to high school together. We both, we grew up in Western Washington. And so we both spent probably a lot of summers at today's topic, which is the Washington State Fair.
Yeah, which I was not aware that they renamed it. I've always called it the Puyallup Fair. So
I still call it the Puyallup Fair.
Perfect. So the vernacular that we will use, everyone's just going to have to identify and understand that it's the Western Washington Fair, I think it is now.
Washington State Fair.
Washington State Fair. Okay, so we're talking about the same shit, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone has always called it the Puyallup. And like I said, everyone I know still calls it the Puyallup. I think Do the Puyallup is still their slogan.
Or if you hear anybody call it Camp Harmony, but we'll touch on that a little bit later.
Or Sillyville.
Sillyville, yeah.
Yeah, kind of funny talking about all the different names. It actually started as the Puyallup Valley Fair in 1900. So this is an old ass fair. This has been around for
125 years.
125 years. Thank you.
Yeah.
That math should have been easier to do in my head. First started in October. Now they have a fall fair and a spring fair. I think they might have a winter fair even, because they do. I know they do like holiday themed stuff. So that must be in the winter, I assume. I always went in the spring because that was the fair.
The spring? We always went in the fall.
Oh, okay. Well,
I didn't even know that they did a spring back in the day. I also was in a very poor family, so they may have been lying to me this whole time that the fairgrounds could have been open. I had no idea whatsoever.
that's very possible. I mean, we lived right near the King County Fairgrounds.
We sure did.
That's a whole other story.
That's not even worth an episode in any way, shape,
It's
or
really
form.
not.
Did you ever sidetrack a little bit? Did you ever work there at all?
I did.
Yes, I did too. At the ripe old age of 13.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Child labor laws were not in effect then. And I remember the Piggly Wiggly asked me if I wanted to go on tour with them. And I think I was 14. And I was like, I have school to go to.
Did you work rides or food?
No, so I did games first, and then I think the next year when I was like 14, I did food. And there was I don't know the laws when, in 2000 or 1998, 1999, but like there was no way I should have been able to flip burgers. I cannot imagine that it was okay for a 14-year-old to be on that thing.
I mean, I was 16 and I worked in food, and it was like this one little stand that was like 6 by 6 or something.
Yep.
And there was 4 of us in there.
Yep.
And it was like 175 degrees.
Yes. And they did not trust you to touch the money whatsoever.
No. The one adult was the guy who just stood at the counter.
Yeah. The one carny that's been on the road with them for 15 years.
Right. Okay, so yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, on to real fairgrounds now.
Yeah. Yeah, the Puyallup Valley Fair was renamed in 1913 to the Western Washington Fair, but everyone still just called it the Puyallup Fair. This is until the early 1980s. I would say until the mid-2020s.
Yes, correct.
In 2006, the name was officially changed to the Puyallup Fair, and the venue as the Puyallup Fair and Events Center. And then in 2013 is when they changed it to the current Washington State Fair, I guess to try and give it a little more cachet.
It's so funny, though, because I don't ever remember like it being called like the Western Washington Fair or it was always the Puyallup Fair.
It was always the Puyallup, yeah.
And it was always like, do the Puyallup. That was what I remember on every commercial, everything for it. Any type of marketing for it was do the Puyallup, and it was the Puyallup Fair. So this other name that they had, I would have had no idea.
Yeah, because they had the little jingle. It was like, do the Puyallup.
Yeah, yes, correct.
Where they tried to make Puyallup sound like 2 syllables.
And if you were to show it to anybody outside of the state of Washington, they would have looked at you with cross-eyed. They had no idea how to pronounce Puyallup.
I always love when I'm listening to podcasts or something and they talk about Puyallup and they're just like,
Puyallup.
And Enumclaw.
Oh, yeah. That I've never understood because just, I don't know, it rolls off the tongue to me. Enumclaw, I don't know why that's hard to pronounce to people, but that, what am I to say? I grew up in the horse fucking town that we lovingly.
Let's not bring that up. Anywho, so yeah, when you suggested this topic, you were like, I want to do some research because I know it has a fucked up past, and I was like, it does? Like, I didn't know anything about this fucked up past.
Oh, you didn't know about the internment camps?
No, not until I did some research last night. Yeah, during World War II, the fair did not take place because the fairgrounds closed in 1941 to set up Camp Harmony, a temporary assembly center within the system of concentration camps for Japanese Americans.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yeah. And the funny, I mean, it's not funny, but like had the internet not existed, which it was very, it didn't have the footprint it does now when you and I were in high school. Like, this was not something that was taught whatsoever.
No.
Like, you would have had to have done your own research to know anything about this, because it's such like it's a black mark on any history. And yeah, I mean, even us living a half hour from there, we had no idea about this was never even something that was talked about. It's not even like we had a cool teacher that was like, hey, by the way, guys, not going to find this in your history book, but that place you graduate high school from.
Or a fucked up teacher that was just like, back in the good old days.
Yes, correct. Which we had a few of them. So that's even more surprising that we didn't have one to bust that out.
A total of 7,390 Japanese Americans from the Seattle-Tacoma area and Alaska were confined in converted horse stables and barracks constructed on adjacent parking lots, the racing track, and under the grandstand.
I think that was all in 1942, right? Because it was all, they turned into an internment camp for like a year, I think it was.
Yeah, 41 to 42.
Yeah. That's what I remember. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you say about that. The funny thing was, as I was reading, because they had thought that, basically the possibility of any Japanese American could possibly be a Japanese spy. And there was multiple people that were in the internment camp because the thought was they could be Japanese spies. And they ended up joining the U.S. military and becoming U.S. spies going to Japan. So
war is so weird, man.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, in September of 1942, the Japanese Americans were sent to other locations and the camp was torn down. The fairgrounds were briefly occupied by the U.S. Army 943rd Signal Service Battalion until they were transferred to Fort Lewis. And then in 1946, the fair just reopened.
Yep.
And
no worries.
Set an attendance record of 100,000 people on opening day.
I doubt there were a lot of Asian Americans there.
Yeah, really. I want to know how many people went on opening day knowing. Like, was that known at the time that was going on?
I honestly, I don't know. And the worst part of all that is you could sit there and think, well, I mean, that was a black mark, and at least we released them after that 1 year. It was, no, we transferred them.
Yeah. We decided not to keep them in horse stalls.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't find, I don't know if you were able to, I found very little remnants of any images of it or anything like that. I guess there was a short film that was done on it, but I had to buy it and I wasn't going to do that. So,
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy that it's one of those things that you hear about, but then you don't realize how close to home it is or it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I had read things about, California and this and this and this, but like, I think it's just, it's so odd being such a large part of my childhood that I remember going to the fair and being so excited about it every single year, and then turning into an even bigger portion because I don't think we brought this up, but Taylor and I's high school, that's where our commencement was. So that's where we graduated high school. And so it's always had a lot of history probably to the two of us. I mean, that's where I remember going to my first concerts. That's
yeah.
I
mean, we'll talk a little bit about the concerts later, but yeah, there was always concerts going on there.
Yeah, they got good acts too.
I mean, that was me and my family every year. We would go do the Puyallup.
Yep.
And I don't remember any kind of exhibit that was just like, in the 1940s, here's what was going on.
But I do remember exhibits, but I was probably too young to realize that, like, 1900 to 1941, and then back to this. We still have to talk about these years.
The fair was closed for some reason from 1941 to 1946. But let's not worry about that right now.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just it's wild to think about. It's wild to think about that there's so many people that probably still have no idea that may be listening to this that are like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't know until you told me, and then I started doing research last night. I'd probably be sitting here talking about the Scrambler at this point if we hadn't if you hadn't told me that there was a fucked up history.
I did see, because obviously like family and family time is such a large part of the Japanese culture, and there was a after that there was a large chunk of the youths and the parents that I guess that like family time, like where they would all share dinner, or they would all this and they all that. It like under that generation of at least people, because they did sort of a small census of the group and found a lot of people that were there. They had said that was the biggest thing that changed in their lives, was like the family unit just dissolved after that, because it was like nobody, it's almost like you go through a tragic thing with somebody, you don't really even want to be around them or see them. So a lot of them talked about like how they literally don't keep close relationships with like brothers, sisters, family members after that, because they reminded them of having to stay in this camp for that period of time. So
Oh man.
yeah, it's pretty fucked up. So I don't think it was exactly Camp Harmony like they tried to make it out to
Yeah,
be.
right.
Which also, I never figured out how that name came to be. So I'm guessing that the few people that did know this was happening, that was their, uh, that was sort of their yellow journalism way of, like, oh, Camp Harmony.
That's just a good time.
It's a great time. It's amazing. They're pretty, in fact, why can't we visit Camp Harmony?
Yeah, it was like I said, reopened in 1946 to 100,000 people on opening day, and has been open every year since, except for 2020. I'll let you guess why that was.
It's kind of surprising, actually, knowing how, well, I guess Washington State, I'm thinking of Enumclaw, everything would have stayed open.
I mean, Puyallup's not a whole lot better.
It's not, no, it's true.
But yeah, in 2020, they canceled that year's fair. It was only 1 year. They canceled the year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, obviously. That was the first, like I said, the first time the fair had been canceled since World War II. But it returned in 2028 with masking requirements. Wonder how that went over. And limited capacity, drawing 816,000 total attendees, which was a 20% decrease from 2019. But I mean, this is a massive fair. It's one of the top 10 largest fairs in the United States. I don't know where exactly it ranks, but yeah.
Wow.
They had their all-time highest attendance in 1993 at 1.4 million people, which was probably when we were going.
That was exactly when I was going, probably from the age of like 7 to 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, like, random offshoot story. This was how big of a deal the Puyallup Fair was to me and my family. Was we would obviously go every single year. And I remember when I was 12 years old, my family surprised us and woke us up in the middle of the night. And this was in like beginning of September, and was like, the whole time they had prefaced what would be, I think it was a Saturday, that we were all getting up to go to the Puyallup Fair. And they woke us up at the crack ass of dawn at like 5 o'clock and said, all right, guys, we're not going to the fair, but pack your bags. We have a better surprise. And we all packed our bags, and my brother was so distraught that we were not going to the fair. Turns out the surprise was we were going to Anaheim to go to Disneyland for the first time ever, which I was so psyched. And my little brother was having none of it, and just made the trip the worst trip in the world, because he did not want to be at Disneyland.
He would rather be at the Puyallup Fair.
And it's not like he was 10 years old. He was at an age where he should have understood the distinction between Disneyland and the Puyallup Fair. But that's the type of impact that it had on people.
People who were gaslit into thinking it was better than Disney.
They were gaslit into thinking it was better. When he did not smell cow shit in Disneyland, he was grossly disappointed.
Wait, where's the scones?
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm sure there's plenty of people listening who are not from Western Washington, who have never been to the Puyallup Fair, don't really understand what it is. So let's just talk about some of the things to do at the Puyallup Fair, starting, of course, with Sillyville. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Sillyville, that sounds like maybe an area for little kids, like little kid rides. No, wrong. It's a farm.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure is.
And when I say a farm, I don't mean like go and pet the animals, because that's a different area of the fair. No, the farm at Sillyville is where you, quote, experience a day in the life of a farmer and explore Washington's rich food and farming heritage. That's right. You get to learn about farms.
I gotta be honest with you. I read a little bit about this, and I don't remember this at all.
I don't either. I'm sure we probably skipped this.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because I will guarantee you that my parents or grandparents, when they brought me, if we were going to go do that, they knew they would have had some pissed off kids on their hands, and we skipped that entirely, because this entire thing, I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't remember this whatsoever.
I really want to know who came up with the name Sillyville for a farm area.
How it all relates whatsoever. I have no idea. It does sound like, never mind, I'm not going to continue that conversation. But it sounds like something where bad things happen to kids. But yeah, Sillyville, don't remember it at all. Doesn't
Hey,
stick
kids,
out.
get in my van. We're going to Sillyville.
Sillyville, yeah. I got a Kit Kat with your name on it, Timmy.
I'm wondering if maybe it used to be called Farmville, and then Facebook was like,
That at least would make somewhat of sense. The Ville seems fine, but the Sillyville, you would think that it's one of those, like, what do you call it? The carnival playhouse things with the mirror that makes you look like it's not related at all to what I would think of as farming. And I know farming is really big in Western Washington, blah, 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 blah. We had to live it growing up. But it definitely would have been the last thing that I ever would have wanted to go to.
Yeah, you don't go to the fair to experience a day in the life of a farmer.
No.
You also don't go for the agriculture and horticulture displays where you, quote, admire the best fruits and vegetables Washington has to offer.
That's right. We had a different upbringing than you all, I'm sure.
The word admire is what really gets me there, because it's like, can you taste them, or is it just like, ooh, that's a good looking apple right there?
That's a goddamn good apple for a farmer friend. Like, it just feels very Little House on the Prairie-ish. And me as a 90s kid was not going to be about that. I don't, my little grunge era.
See, these were all the things at this King County Fair, at the Enumclaw Fairgrounds. These were the things you went there to do these things. Yes. You didn't go to the Puyallup for agriculture and horticulture displays, or the fair farm where you meet animals from bunnies to llamas and goats and roosters.
No, you went to the Puyallup Fair to eat an elephant ear and to throw up after riding the zipper.
And to go on that big-ass wooden coaster.
Which I don't remember what the name of it is. I'm hoping in your research you found it.
We'll get there, yeah.
Okay.
But like Jason said earlier, a lot of concerts take place at the Puyallup Fair. You said you went to a bunch?
I remember my first concert was 311.
Oh, man. 311 was the first album I ever bought.
Well, we're doing something wrong.
To be fair, the first one I ever bought actually with my own money was Soundgarden Super Unknown.
That's okay, I'll give you that. Oh, you win
that. Yeah, a lot of just kind of actually surprisingly big acts coming through the fair. I just looked at last year's lineup, but like Steve Miller Band, Gabriel Iglesias, the comedian, Neo, Gym Class Heroes, which a little past their prime, but still a big name.
I remember when I was younger, I was like 17, and I heard Rod Stewart was coming there. I was like, how are they landing these people?
Yeah, right? Matchbox 20?
Yeah. I mean, those aren't bad acts to have.
I definitely remember Weird Al being at the fair.
I remember that too. Yes.
Apparently last year also had Kids Bop.
Jesus Christ.
which I didn't know. I didn't know they did live music.
Neither.
Is it just like 30 kids on stage singing Firework by Katy Perry or something? Like,
I also remember that inside of there, like, you didn't have to go attend the concert. You could literally just stand to the side and you would see and hear everything at the concert. It's not like we're
yeah,
talking about this was like a closed, like, sort of thing. This was a fully open. I mean, what would you say it sat? Probably 5,000, maybe?
if that, yeah.
It was what you would imagine if you were at a rodeo would look like, I guess. That would be the best way that I could describe it. It was like a half-circled rodeo seating area with
Yeah, open
a
air
stage,
auditorium
open air
seating.
auditorium. Yeah, but I mean, you could hear whatever all over the fair. So it's not like you had to pay $1 to go to the concert if you wanted to enjoy it in any way.
I'm pretty sure there was areas too where you could like stand behind the bleachers and look
Yep.
through people's feet and you could
Yep.
see the stage.
Yep. 100%. Yep.
And then, of course, the big thing we want to talk about is the rides. It was surprisingly hard to find any information on the rides at the Puyallup Fair.
Or unsurprising.
Like, I went to their website, which, by the way, is thefair.com, which is pretty amazing. They got that URL.
Yeah, good on them.
But there's like 3 rides listed on there.
So, just to clarify to everyone, there, and I'm thinking about it. There was definitely those distinct rides that were part of the fair. And then I would imagine some of the other rides they brought in from like third party carnival, because there was like the zipper, there was those rides that are kind of traveling rides, but there was definitely those distinct couple rides that were like, this is what I imagine the Puyallup Fair, the roller coasters. But I'm kind of surprised they don't have more information unless it's a safety thing, which wouldn't surprise me.
It's so funny because like you look at the URL and it's like thefair.com/rides/grand wheel or whatever.
Silly Bill.
And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll just take off this last part and just go thefair.com/rides. That must be where all the rides are listed. 404. So yeah, I did a lot of just kind of searching people's blogs and like YouTube videos to just kind of try and find some of these rides. But like you said, yeah, there's definitely the ones that are cemented into the fabric of the fairgrounds, and then there's the carny rides that travel from city to city.
Yeah, and there was a lot of acts. I remember that. Like there was, like I don't know if you ever did the hypnotist thing.
Mm-mm.
The ran like hypnotized one time. I'd blow a guy. It was really uncomfortable at 16.
Which, by the way, nutmeg.
No. It was, yeah, so there was a lot of like random acts and everything, which I don't know if they do that anymore. The whole thing was just very eclectic. Like it was all over the place. It wasn't like there was any central theme to anything, which as you can tell, silly Bill was check out. But yeah, I mean, I remember that like the rides were obviously as a kid the most important thing. The roller coaster being like the utmost top sort of. Which, again, I haven't been there in 20 years. Do these things still exist?
Yeah. And I mean, we'll talk about the coaster last here because that's the most important one.
Okay.
But there are 3 Ferris wheels at this thing. I could only find information on 2 of them.
Okay.
One of them is called the Wonder Wheel. And as far as I can tell, it only operates during the holiday. Because it said it was all like holiday themed. And that's all the information I could find.
Isn't it so weird that neither of us really remember like any of that? Like, I don't recall any of that. I remember the coaster. I don't recall really any other anything.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like we were saying, there's so many of the rides are just the fair rides. They're
like they're filler,
the Scrambler,
almost.
The Zipper. They're ones that are at everything.
Yes.
So it wasn't distinctly Puyallup Fair rides.
Yes. Same thing with the food. That was all just brought in by carnies. I don't like there was never anything that was distinct there. Which the farther we get into this episode, the more I think, why does this have such a why does this place have such a large memory imprint for me?
Well, yeah, and like, why is it one of the top 10 biggest fairs in the country?
Exactly. There's nothing. I mean, you're probably a bigger theme park enthusiast than I am, but like when I get bored and I'm just kind of YouTubing around, like I've definitely watched, some of the Texas fairgrounds and this and that, and they're fucking immaculate. They're huge. They've got a theme. They've got things that happen every year. There's nothing distinct that happens at this fair, I would say. There's nothing that would make you want to go or lure you over. It's just a fair, and maybe they should really emphasize the concentration camp part.
The sad part is it's probably not the only fairgrounds with that history.
Oh, it can't be 100%. Yeah.
But yeah, like, you've got these rides that are just kind of standard fair rides, and then like all the carnival games are all just kind of the same typical thing that you'd see on the Atlantic City Boardwalk or any other county fair.
Yep.
And it's just, like shooting a ball into a hoop that's a little too small, or throwing rings on a bottle, or throwing darts at a balloon.
It's probably literally the exact same people that bring the things to the King County Fairgrounds.
There's probably 3 companies that do the whole country.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
Yes, the third, I guess the newest Ferris wheel is actually the biggest. It's the Grand Wheel. It is 100 feet tall and features 24 gondolas.
Oh, they went to gondolas now, huh?
What were they before? Just buckets?
Well, I'm thinking, when you say gondola, I'm thinking of the closed gondolas.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm guessing that's what it is. Oh, you're thinking of like the open, like a roller coaster cart looking thing.
Like you're sitting there with your girlfriend and holding hands, and it's an open thing, crossing, shaking back and forth.
Yeah, toes are hanging off the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's what the Wonder Wheel and this mysterious third wheel are. I would have to assume, probably. Another big ride there is the Extreme Scream. This is one that you see at a lot of places.
Yeah, I do remember this. Yes.
It's it's kind of like Tower of Terror. It's the same kind of mechanics, but it's outside. It's just a big pole that goes straight up with seats all the way around it, and you go all the way up with your feet dangling at the edge. It goes 20 stories in the air and then just drops you. Yeah, and you push nearly 3 Gs as you plummet back down in terrifyingly fun fashion, as they say.
I can remember probably when I was 15 or 16, so you got a couple years on me, so you were probably 17 or 18. When that came out, they pushed the shit out of that. I remember that was on every commercial, that was on everything, that they had this giant ride. But yeah, now that you bring that up, that's the only other one besides the coaster that stands out to me at all. And the more I think about it, 100% Wild Waves had better rides.
Most definitely. Most definitely. This summer, I am 100% planning a Wild Waves episode. Don't you worry about that.
Okay. I won't spoil anything then with Wild Waves.
Some of the other rides are just kind of these typical rides we see everywhere. The swings, where you just get in a swing and the thing spins and you start to, you're hanging from chains, so they go farther and farther out as this thing goes higher and faster. The Scrambler, which I actually just did an episode about. You can go back and listen to that if you don't know what a Scrambler is. We went into surprisingly deep detail about the Scrambler. The Giant Slide. You remember the Giant Slide is basically just a giant slide. Just a giant plastic slide, and you sit on a burlap sack. Yep.
It was either that or a body bag.
And if the burlap sack slipped out from underneath you, then you went all the way down going...
You had the worst rug burn in your life.
Yeah, you just had road rash all the way down your knees and legs and elbows.
It's kind of crazy when I think back at some of these, because I'm just like, how did we not have to sign things before we got on these rides?
It was probably implied when you bought the ticket.
That's actually probably true.
There's the Ring of Fire, which looks pretty wild. I don't really remember. I have vague recollections of this.
I remember the Ring of Fire, but I only remember that from Wild Ways. That's the big. It's just a circle that
It's
you
just a
it
circle.
back and forth, and then it does like one or two loops, and then
that's it. Yep.
Yeah.
There's the Wildcat, which is the smaller roller coaster. This is newer, so I don't recall ever going on this.
Nope.
From the looks of it, I think it's a Wild Mouse coaster, which I think is the first Wild Mouse coaster we've talked about on Wild Mouse.
Oh, way to bring this all full circle.
I remember there was this ride. I don't remember what it was called, but I remember you got in and it like strapped in from above. And so you're sitting in the seat and your feet were dangling down, but then it would go up and it would spin around and go upside down.
I kind of remember that too. But obviously it didn't leave a huge enough impression on me.
Well, I only remember because when I was in high school, I had real bad equilibrium problems, and so I couldn't really do upside down rides. And one of our mutual friends, who I'll tell you about who it is later, we got on the ride, and they were like, "Get ready for the wildest spinning upside down," and I just like shot her this death glance.
Oh no!
I'm trying to remember, did I throw up at the Puyallup? No, I think I threw up at the King County Fair when I ate a whole thing of cotton candy and then went on the Matterhorn.
The Matterhorn?
Yeah, it's not the Matterhorn from Disney, obviously. No, it was just like a thing it was like a carousel, but it went fast.
And
I think the things like they were on a track and they like went up and down.
Yeah, I really, after working the rides at King County Fairgrounds, I made the decision that I was good. I never needed to ride any of those. Saw the people running them. They are not exactly society's upper class. They usually start the day with a beer and a hit of something, and then would allow 15-year-olds to run it for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, I ate a whole thing of cotton candy, and then I went on this Matterhorn, and I got off the ride and just, and I remember like one of like this, 16-year-old carny was like, "There's a trash can right there," and I'm just like, "Yeah, fuck me, right?" Like, what?
Like you were sitting there scrambling, like, trash can, ground.
Yeah, I gotta make a quick decision: trash can or right in this guy's face.
You chose correctly, my friend.
But I remember it being bright blue because of the cotton candy.
For the cotton candy.
Yeah, no, not because I had some weird Smurf illness or something.
You were blowing Job earlier in his blue man suit.
And then I just blew myself all over. You could say I blew chunks.
Jesus. You could. You shouldn't. You could.
Whatever. Max will appreciate that one.
Shout out to Max.
Max is a good dude.
Yeah. Never met him, but him and I engage socially. He's good.
We're talking about Max Zaleski, who did the Indiana Jones Adventure episode, if you want to go back and listen to that. So the crown jewel, at least in my eyes, is what is now known as Classic Coaster. That's what it's called. That's what the sign says. It is a big giant sign that says Classic Coaster.
Brought to you from the same folks at Sealyville. Classic Coaster.
Honestly, like if you look at pictures of the Puyallup Fair, I'm surprised it's not like Coca-Cola Coaster because everything is branded.
Yeah. Classic Coaster. What was it when we were younger?
I always just called it the roller coaster, which I guess, by the way, previously known by several other names, including Giant Coaster, The Coaster, and Roller Coaster.
Jesus Christ.
So when we went, it was probably just called Roller Coaster.
Roller Coaster, yeah. I do remember, you go on wooden coasters, especially like Six Flags, and you hear the clicking as you're coming up, and like, it's almost like the worry of the coaster malfunctioning is intensified by everything around you. This legitimately you did not feel safe on. Like,
No,
I remember that very distinctly.
that was my dad's go-to move. Every time we would go to the fair, we would wait so we could sit in the front car. And every time, as we're going up that first big hill, because it starts off with the big hill, and yeah, it's like lurching forward and then like rocking back, and it's just like ka-chunk, ka-chunk. And he would turn around and he'd go, "We're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it."
Fucking Larry Bartle.
And I vividly remember this one time, there was these two girls behind us who couldn't be older than like 14. And they just start going, "What? Oh my God." They're looking at each other going, "We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it."
No, but it was like, it just, I don't know how else to describe it. I've been on the Cyclone in Brooklyn.
That's pretty terrifying too.
It is, but like I've been on roller coasters where it's like they probably upkeep this, like it did not feel like that whatsoever. Like it was, I mean, you almost could see the splinters like whipping off of the wood as you were coming up, and like it didn't feel safe, but it would if you were old enough. That was part of the allure of it, was that you were like, I can die.
But what a way to go.
What a way to go.
Yeah, the classic coaster has been at the fair since 1935. So it lived through the dark days. It is a 55-foot high, 2,650-foot long wooden roller coaster. I believe it might be the largest wooden roller coaster left in the United States. I mean, I don't have a source on that, but I swear I remember hearing that before. Because everything's metal now. There's hardly any wooden roller coasters left.
Not to go back to the internment camp, but it really, when you really think about it, how terrible is that for those kids? They're sitting there, they're just looking up at this fun roller coaster. Because I would imagine this thing was built like well after all that. Oh no, they had to sit there and look at a life that could be.
So it may be the oldest wooden roller coaster, maybe not the largest. Maybe that's what I remember.
Okay, well that makes a lot more sense on why I was scared shitless every time that I rode it.
Yeah.
Because when I would have been riding it, it was 60 years old at the time.
Yeah. It was actually destroyed by a fire in 1970. Not all of it. It didn't burn to the ground, but a good major section of it was destroyed. But it was
never replaced.
No, possibly even worse. It was rebuilt in time for the fair that year.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'm curious when in 1970 the fire happened, because like the fair is, assuming the fair is in September, even if it's in January, that means 8 months they repaired this thing. That sounds pretty slapdash.
Yeah. Sorry, no, go for it.
They threw it from 2009 to 2013. They actually completely rebuilt and restored the ride. So it actually is probably in better shape now than it was when we rode it.
I would imagine. So they was out of commission for 4 years.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Unless they were letting people ride it while they were working on it.
Hey guys, the fair's in town. Everyone construction's gonna stop.
Or it's just like, oh, here comes a car. Everybody's taking a step back.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, that was always the top thing on everyone's list to do. I remember my grandfather was scared shitless to ever ride roller coasters, so it was like the one ride that he'd be like, I'm not doing this. So if you guys want to ride this, I'll just stand on the side and I'll watch you in line and make sure that nobody kidnaps you. But other than that, once you get through the threshold of under the little canopy, I don't know what's happening to you.
I remember one year me and my dad went, we rode the roller coaster 3 times and then we went home.
In fairness, that was probably the best day you could have had because there's not a
It's
lot else to do there.
as many times as I went to the fair, that's the one that sticks out in my memory. So
Yeah, and I remember now that we're looking back at that, parking being an absolute nightmare there.
oh God, yes. And you had all the
And
people who were like, come park on my front yard for $68. Like,
yes, I remember that. You would think if you got there early enough, you'd be able to get parking. You never were. You could have got there at 3 a.m. and you were not getting parking. And so you would end up just driving through neighborhoods and there'd just be random signs that would be in the front lawn that would just be like, park here, $45. And then the closer you get to the grounds, 50, 60. And like, that's just what it was. So these people just were generating revenue, just having people park on their front lawn for, what is it, a month or so? Like that. And that's what it was. And it didn't matter where you were, because even if somehow you did get a parking spot that was somewhat near, you were walking at minimum almost a mile. I just remember anytime we were entering and leaving, that was the worst part of the day because it was nowhere near the fairgrounds itself.
yeah, the thing about the Puyallup Fairgrounds is they're in the middle of a neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Like the King County Fairgrounds, they're out in the boonies. They're out in the middle of a field.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can just park in the middle of a field. That's fine. And then you're walking distance to the fairgrounds. Yeah. Puyallup Fair is in the middle of a neighborhood. So you've got these people, they're literally like across the street from a roller coaster.
Yep.
That's where they live.
Yep. And at most, maybe, I mean, I'm really, really being liberal here. There might have been 1,000 parking spots that were designated for the fairgrounds. Other than that, it was just a free for all.
I don't remember there being parking. I don't remember there being parking spots. Oh, I always just parked on the street.
Yeah, well, that's what you ended up having to do. Because unless you got there the week prior, you were not able to park.
Yeah. Am I crazy, or did the roller coaster used to be white?
No, you're crazy. No, I don't remember. I kind of remember. I do remember it being white. Makes sense. That rings true in my head. Yes.
Okay, so maybe when they did this renovation, they just didn't paint it because it's just wood grain now.
I mean, again, I haven't seen it in God knows how long, and it's now that it's what is it now?
Classic coaster.
Classic coaster. I mean, God, the marketing and branding on this is incredible.
It's like, okay, you guys want to go on a roller coaster, right? You want to go on Wildcat or Classic?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of speaks more to just the drabness of the Puyallup Fair. Like, it actually is kind of perfect because there's nothing that stands out. Like, I mean, I imagine that they probably just asked, had a neighborhood vote on, what do you want the roller Classic.
I mean, it's been around since 1935. What else could you call it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I mean, when we did, it was odd thinking back. That was where we graduated. That was our commencement. Do you have any memories that stand out of your commencement at the Puyallup Fairgrounds?
No.
Perfect.
The only thing I really remember is this guy who was like a couple in front of me had big giant hair. And God, I can't remember his name, but he, stuffed it all down into his cap. Yeah. And so when it was his turn, he took off his cap, and his hair was just like poof. That's about all I remember from my commencement.
There wasn't really any lasting memories of the commencement itself. I remember thinking when I was like that age, it was cool that we were graduating at the King County Puyallup Fair. I remember thinking because I had so many memories of it, but like, yeah, it really gave you, because we got to go backstage of the Puyallup Fair concert hall, and it was a dilapidated shithole.
I can't imagine it's much better now.
No, I can't imagine, which just makes me think even more how they got the likes of 311 and Rod Stewart out there.
And Kids Bop.
Yeah, I mean, I would be, if I'm ever there in September, I definitely want to go just for sort of that, euphoric reasoning, but I guarantee I'm going to be horribly disappointed, and it may crash down on many of my childhood memories. But going home every time is horribly disappointing and
That's
crashing
true.
down on my childhood memories. So why not add the Puyallup Fair to it too?
All right, before we wrap up, I definitely want to talk about fair food, because fair food is in a tier all its own. In recent years, the Puyallup has tried to get fancy, which, come on. They now have a mahi mahi cevicheria
What?
with seafood, including ceviche with spicy chips. They have a bao box with dumplings and noodles. They have a pie bar with fruit and cream pies in different flavors.
That makes sense. That checks out. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, pie is
Yeah.
that's a fair food. Sure.
Yes. Okay.
I'll tell you what's not is, although you might appreciate this, the Kama'aina grill with Kahlua pork, lumpia, and other Pacific Island dishes. I'm sure very authentic.
Well, I don't understand. Like, it already weirds me out when baseball stadiums try doing this. Now we're going to do it at the Puyallup Fairgrounds. I wouldn't trust any of that food from an establishment in Puyallup. I'm definitely not going to trust it from the establishment inside their fairgrounds.
I'm not going to trust it from a stand that's not going to be here in a week. But no, give me the staples. Give me a big fat corn dog with breading this thick that's all lumpy looking because it was made by some 13-year-old. Give me the elephant ears.
If you're going to the fairgrounds to get a bao box, you should be shot. That's not what fairs are for. It's an elephant ear, it's the corn dogs, even a turkey leg or the giant corn on the cob. Like, I'm a liberal guy. I think it's getting too liberal out there.
But the creme de la creme, the one thing that I would always not only get there, but also to take home, the Fisher scones.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the
Fisher scones are so fucking good.
Yeah, I forgot about those. They still have those?
Yeah, I went to the King County Fairgrounds recently for a Scottish Highland Games, which was surprisingly fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had the scones stand was out there, and I got one. My mom got one. My mom ended up not eating hers, so I ate hers, and then I also took one home.
Yeah, I forgot about the scones out there, man. I definitely had some scones out here because there's this little fair that happens it is just not the same.
Yeah.
They must have gotten that fruit straight from Sillyville.
Yeah, if you've never had a Fisher scone, it's just so soft and buttery, and it's got strawberry jam inside that just oozes out the side when you take a bite, and it's so hard to describe how amazingly good these things are.
They're always really, really fresh. Because literally, they have not been sitting around because you're going to be in line for a few minutes to get them, and they friggin' fly off the shelves. Like, I remember that was one of the first things we would do when we went to the fair, and then one of the last things we would do because we would always get at least two. And oh my god, they were so good. I don't know why that was not part of my memory, but yeah, I love the scones.
Yeah, and like they have a mix that you can make at home, but it's just not the same.
No,
you need it cooked in a trailer on top of a 40-watt bulb or something like.
Some grubby 14-year-old kid
with purple hair who doesn't give a shit and just wants you to get away from him.
Yes, 100%.
So that's kind of all I got on the Washington State Fair. I mean, there's also the booth area where just random people will go in and peddle their wares, and it's basically an Etsy shop in real life.
Yes, I remember
that. Again, I don't know what that has to do with a fair. I don't know why. I guess it's just to fill the halls, but
it was. I mean, I do remember the Puyallup Fair being. It's got a pretty good sized footprint, so I do know that they just got to fill it with whatever the fuck they're going to fill it with. That's what it is.
Yeah, and there's multiple halls, and like I said, the halls are just filled with people who, they are selling handmade friendship bracelets and knitted hats and things.
Well, a lot of what they were selling back when we were, in our youth, Uh,
You say Ute?
Ute. You'd walk around, and a lot of it was like those like salespeople that were selling the shit that you would see on TV that like you could only buy on TV.
Oh
like
yeah, like the slap shop
sweep,
and
the slap shop, the sweeper, the Sobakawa pillow, and the this and the that, and it was
that's
just
right.
like,
Yeah.
and they'd have the little headset, and so you'd
Mhm.
walk into this hall, and you would hear 50 different headsets going all over
That's
the place.
right.
Yeah, and they'd be selling and like doing demos of the shit, and like it was a live action, you know, as seen on TV thing all over. Yeah.
And then you had, just random people selling their jellies and things like that. But it was different than, Farmer John over at Sillyville, who was shilling his blue ribbon tomatoes.
Don't fucking touch it.
Look, but don't touch.
If only.
Look with your eyes. Okay. Any last thoughts on the Puyallup Fair, Jason?
I think I've given way too much thought to the Puyallup Fair the last hour, honestly. I think I'm good.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to promote? Anything you want to plug?
No.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask, I don't know. I ask everybody. What can I say?
Get it? But no, I don't want any of you. I don't want any of you fucking with my socials. I don't want find me. I live on an island because of you motherfuckers.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this. You're welcome back anytime.
Appreciate it, buddy. And I'm looking forward. The hope is we will be doing, if I can say it, we'll bring on a buddy of mine to do a Caught Around the World episode that I'm very excited to do because I have many stories about it.
We will definitely do that. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for listening to Wild Mouse, and we will see you next time.
Your attention, please. This episode of Wild Mouse has concluded. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast player, and follow us on social media at Wild Mouse Podcast. Don't forget to visit the gift shop at wildmousepodcast.com. For exclusive bonus content, become a premium pass holder at patreon.com/wildmousepodcast. We hope you enjoyed your time, and will visit us again soon. Thank you, and good night.